Craze in 10 or less is the show where I give it to you in 10 minutes or under, and if I don't, these are the breaks. Anyway, as an independent creator, do you need an editor? That's the topic of the day. I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera. Stop acting up. Let's get it. All right, so why this topic? Well, I was recently on a podcast trying to promote for bidding on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, which, by the way, there's only 2 days left. 2 days left. And if you like this show and if you like what I create, have it in your heart to go over there and help us get to 50 backers. You know, get the digital copy, $5, right? So if you can only support one indie a month, consider supporting this guy. I truly appreciate it. Anyway, so the topic came up because there was an indie creator who happens to be an editor who was promoting her services. And it dawned on me, right? The question, because when you look at our books, it doesn't have anything, there's no title there for editor. And so I had to put things in perspective and say, you know, why haven't we ever chosen to use an editor? And for us, for me, it's George and I balance each other, right? You know, so when George letters my work, he'll ask questions and we'll talk about it. And if I see something, I'll call it out. Same, you know, that's how the checks and balance works. And so never really thought about it. I have used an editor and a proofreader for my children's books and my prose. And why did I treat the two differently? I'll tell you why. With the comic books, I felt like we've done enough of our homework where we didn't have to use one. Would it have been nice? Yes. But we're going to talk about the reasons, the reality of it all. But before we do that, let's talk about the editors in general. On average, in the industry standard, an associate editor makes anywhere between $38,000 and $41,000, right? A year. That's a big chunk of change. As an independent creator, I can't afford that. That's an associate editor, right? Senior editors, about $84,000, right? So you have to think editor would have to be $55,000 to $60,000, right? So somewhere in the middle, right? So you get the low end, mid range, and high end. Now, how does that translate over into the small press world? So I did some homework. So there are people who are offering their services anywhere based on page count. And so they're charging anywhere between $10 and up a page, right? So who is an editor? What does an editor do, right? And everyone's like, well, why do I need it? You know, editor basically is the gatekeeper. Editor is the watcher, right? On the wall, right? Looking for the White Walkers. The editor is the one who's saying, yo, we need more men on that ridge over there. We have a vulnerable spot over here. Hey, these guys haven't eaten. You know, they're not going to be strong enough for the battle that's to come, right? So it's talking in comic book terms. Sam, why are you talking about Game of Thrones? Stop acting up, because it was a good show. It was a good show. Anyway, so the editor, they set the deadlines. They make the initial assignments, right? They remind the writers, yo, time is money. Money is time, right? They receive the script, read it for content and continuity, and ask for rewrites if necessary. Ultimately, copy edits the accepted and final script, all that stuff, right? You know, they're the ones who are making sure the artists, when they deliver the pages, they are meshing with the script, right? That there's nothing that, you know, maybe the artist took liberty to go a different direction. They're basically saying, wait. What you did here doesn't add up to what the story is doing. So, you know, they're the ones who are making sure the pace and the movement and everything is there, right? So they're the ones who they have a roadmap, right? So I also looked at, you know, I did some research, and there was on, what was the website? So this way, creatorresource.com, right? And there was a great article about how to manage a comic book project in timelines. The biggest thing is asking your question, how long is my comic going to take, right? So they created this spreadsheet. It says how many pages can you do on average by work, not your best work day. How many pages can you do on average? Average number of days off. So 6 pages. That's hypothetical, right? On average, or not your best work day. Additionally plan your days off, the times of day, all these things you want to plan. And they have that. Now I'm going to put this snapshot here and I'm going to put the link also. Editor's notes and turnaround time. So they're saying it's going to take 80 days from start to finish for each comic book. Right? 80 days from start to finish. That means from script to artist to letters. The artist hopefully does the inks as well and colors, right? So in order to make sure they meet that timeline, they created this spreadsheet. So why do you need an editor? Can you afford an editor? Here's what I say. Most independents are starting out, can't even afford the pencils that they're using, right? So it doesn't make sense to go out and try to source somebody that's going to go and you're going to pay for services when you're trying to raise money to pay for the artist if you're a writer, right? So there are ways around this so that you don't get yourself, because I tell you right now, we could have used an editor back in the early days of Crazy Comics. Because we were running, we were sprinting, we wanted to get to the finish line. It was like the tortoise and the hare. And we made mistakes. There were typos, punctuation issues, capitalization issues, all these things that we printed 100 copies. We're stuck with it. Hopefully the fans don't notice, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look, right? So yes, we could have used it, in hindsight, but over the years, we've really trained our eye to really understand what we're looking for, and it's great when you're working with others. If you can afford it, yes, you want to put the pressure on a third party to really make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. The I's are dotted. The I's are dotted. Yo, I need more coffee. The I's are dotted. And that's what they're there for. They're the ones who deal with the pressure of everything. They're the ones who remind you and keep you on point. And will also protect the integrity and the quality of the book. But it's not realistic for every independent creator. So what I would suggest is don't ask abuelita, don't ask your grandmother to proofread your stuff, because she ain't going to know. She's going to say, it's beautiful, mijo. I love it. I love you. Mwah, mwah. Toma. She's going to give you 50 cents and go play, right? I'm a grown man. What you give me 50 cents for? Man, give you 50 G's, right? So don't give it to your grandma. Go find somebody that has some form of understanding of grammar and literature that might want to just hook you up. If not, use the whole team and go through it line by line, right? Do a table reading session, a group session. Everyone does a lot of that when it comes to the visual process, right? The artistic process. But remember, those words have to go on paper. So do the same thing. Make sure that everything's there, your grammar's there, everything's on point. And then the process, if you don't have an editor to course correct or to make adjustments, is usually during the thumbnail process, right? So the artist is producing their thumbnails, right? The page layouts, and they're giving you panel by panel layouts, and they're showing you in the roughs. That's your time to be the editor. That's your time to go over there and say, well, look, I don't understand this. This is calling for XYZ to do A, B, and C, and you have XYZ doing elemental P. It doesn't make sense, right? And this is where you say, oh, you change the position here. You know what? You're missing this character here. You know what? We wanted the setting to look like this, and you have it looking like this. That's when you do it. You don't do it when you've delivered finished pages, because that's only going, unless you got the money to keep paying for the artist to do it all, because people are just going to get frustrated. And that's how independent groups break, right? Because they wait to the last minute to provide feedback, and now it's no longer feedback. Now it's just annoyance. And it's like, yo, come on, man. You know how long I worked on this? I got another project I got lined up. I got to finish this. You should have said this when I gave you those thumbnails. So this is where you want to just make sure that you are partnering with people. Do a table read when the script is ready. Go over it. Everybody should have a highlighter and a pen. Use the whole team. You got the colorist, the artist, everybody sit down If you all want to grow together and understand all facets of the industry, then do it together, right? Same thing. You get the thumbnails, everybody sit together. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Put it on the board. Do a forensics, CSI board and just go boom, 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 boom. That's what Pixar does, right? Pixar, they put everything on the board and they go frame by frame by frame by frame, and everybody in the room is giving their opinion. That's what you want to do. Strengthen numbers. Strengthen numbers. So, do you need an editor? It all depends. Is it ideal? Yes. Do you want to grow in the industry and get better and take the weight off your shoulder having to do everything? That's when an editor comes into play. But sometimes you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, I just gave you some solutions. Again, it's up to you. You make the decision. You decide that if you got it all covered and you have none of those issues, because I've seen a lot of books, even in the stands at the comic shops, where every page the word balloons are either bigger or smaller. They change. The fonts change. It's just like all the rules are broken. I'm like, oh, I'm not buying the second one, right? So with that said, that's another tip for today. If you want me to dig in deeper on this subject matter, let me know. I can always do it for you. But again, I'm down to the last 2 days on Forbidden. On Indiegogo or Kickstarter, we have the raffle on Wednesday night, which is the last day of the campaign. 7 p.m. We're going live to hopefully try to break 50 backers. Hopefully we can do it between today and tomorrow. Remember, we have the Cyber Monday special, which ends tonight at midnight. Some great deals. With that said, if you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, like, share. Hit that alert button so you know whenever new episodes come up. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a blessed day. Peace.